What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022 edition of the Daily Energy Stand-Up. I am your humble correspondent, Michael Tanner, coming to you from an undisclosed location here in Dallas, Texas, joined by the executive producer of the show, the purveyor of the show, and the director and publisher of the world's greatest website, EnergyNewsBeat.com, Stuart Turley. It's our last show of the week. We got to send them out strong today.
Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we're ready for some Thanksgiving.
We are ready. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? I'm putting you on the spot.
All the above.
Really? So nothing, like not the sweet potatoes, not the turkey. I have a hot take. I don't really like turkey. I usually go for the ham. I usually go all for the ham.
I'm just look at my waistline. I like anything.
Fair enough. Well, we hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. This will be our last show for the week, and then we will be back at you Friday morning. Markets are open for a half day, so we figured we bring you the news. We've got a great show for you lined up. It's pretty insane. I was just laughing with Stu. It seems to be there's just new crazy stories every day. First, he's going to cover about coal. It's bouncing back. We'll see what that looks like. It's going to be a cold winter in Ukraine. Looks like Putin is warning of a winter war, and it's going to start with energy. Yikes. This one just cracks me up. UK bypassing its own sanctions on Russian oil. It's too rich. EU proposed nat gas caps draws ire as market intervention could worsen energy crisis. Guys, I can't make this stuff up. And finally, we'll bounce over to Norway and cover why energy security, their view on energy security should be ringing alarm bells. I'll finish it up with a little bit of finance and nat gas talk. Interesting news out of Gazprom. We'll cover all that in a bag of chips before I kick it over to Stu. As always, guys, this show is brought to you by the world's greatest website, EnergyNewsBeat.com. You can check the link out in the bio below. It is probably the best place for all oil and gas, but specifically energy news. Stu does a great job of merging both the political that is needed in order to understand what's going on in the energy business right now, but keeping it all super relevant. We have oil and gas finance news, which I curate. It's guys, it's growing into the best website in the world. We appreciate you, everybody who's checked it out. All right, Stu, enough of the pleasantries. What do you want to start with? You've got some hot ones here.
Oh, this is just hilarious. You can't buy this kind of entertainment when you have coal coming back like it is. I mean, for our listeners, I'm just showing this beautiful coal-fired plants. Michael, it used to be when you'd say, if you're bad, Santa's going to be putting coal in your stocking.
Yep.
I'm going to say, great. I'm going to go like rob a bank or something because I really would like to have some coal. The price is so high right now that it is absolutely going to go nutty. The coal, in fact, I was talking to a bunch of folks, investors today, and they've been doing quite well investing in coal. The numbers that are just nuts. I'm trying to get to these numbers. Global coal generation would probably be even higher if not for the economic lull in China. And then the new U.S. coal miners are actually being able to export. So even though we're not using as much coal in the U.S., the rest of the world is pig piling on coal like you wouldn't believe. Coal's surprisingly tenacity underscores the difficulty in curbing the world's most carbon-intensive fuel. We're a long way from getting away from coal.
Yeah, and we could have eliminated coal if we had just decided to go all in on natural gas, which just is another reason why the people who are running every energy major agency, whether it's the EIA, the EPA, the IEA, whoever, they're all idiots, because if we had an entire natural gas infrastructure, we wouldn't have to worry about coal, which we can be completely honest is horrible for the environment.
Well, here's my take. We operate some of the cleanest coal plants in the world. Why don't we take that technology and bring it to the emerging nations, teach them how to use that good technology on coal, and then get them to where they can afford the other stuff? Anyway, that's for another time. I love this article.
Not a bad argument.
This article was Buchanan warns of Putin's winter war on Ukraine. Now, the cartoon is really kind of funny for the listeners on the podcast. It's a picture of a Democrat turning the American public to look at, oh, look, there's a war over there. And it's taking it away from Trump and FTX as the major scandals around here. But what this is really bringing up is the fact that Putin is taking the gloves off here, man. He is actually going after the grid, and he is actually going after the taking the power out. This article was really well done from the standpoint it talks about the history and how Putin has used the winter in the past. And now he's about to do it again. He is taking out the power grid, and it's sad for the Ukrainian people.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad. There's no really anything else to say, honestly, other than that. Like, it sucks.
It does. And again, our hearts and prayers go out to the Ukraine folks. I still want an audit of every dime that we've given to the Ukrainians.
You won't, but it's a good ask, but we'll never see it. They'll never do it.
I don't have any problem supporting the Ukrainians. I just don't like supporting political parties by giving it to countries. Okay. This one, Michael, you gotta love this. Snuck that one in, didn't I?
You can't let it go. I just love it.
No, it drives me.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
I tried to sneak it by you, but I saw by your face it was like, he got me again. Okay, let's take a look at this one. UK bypassing its own sanctions on Russian oil. Okay, you can't buy this kind of entertainment. Okay, I'm a squirrel, but this is just absolutely entertainment. Companies are using a loophole, and this is going to come into more of a issue as we roll around into February's, because that is going to go into refined products. But this one, remember, you and I in our previous show when it was doing so wild, we were talking about spoofing and doping. And this has some of the same steps in it, that they take a big tanker and then they peel them out into smaller tankers, and they forget to write down where that big tanker came from.
Yeah, I mean, why would you write down where the tanker came from? Why would you?
Well, no, it's like, so anyway, the ship-to-ship transfers, let me read this to you, have become really useful method to obfuscate. Well, I can't even read that. I'm getting old.
This segment is sponsored by Oklahoma State University for all your education needs.
I got my handicap driver's license there, and fully to the destination and the origin of the cargo. The Iranians started, the Venezuelans perfected it, and the Russians picked it up and ran with it. I absolutely love that quote. You and I were talking about the Iranians and the Venezuelans spoofing and doping, and I just never thought that we would be talking about spoofing and doping. Now, the Russians have notched it up to, they're teaching the Iranians. Don't you know the Iranian oil guys are sitting there going, hey, that's a good idea. They're improving it. So, okay. This has two factors on it. EU's proposed nat gas drop draws ire as market intervention could worsen the entire argument. That's what this article is here. Now, you also brought up why nat gas brought up so heavy today. So these two articles go in together very nicely. The new laws will accelerate the permitting process for renewable energy. They are doubling down on stupid again. I don't understand this. Reuters said that the proposal plans to cap the front month contract prices on the Dutch tidal transfer facility. This comes as Europe's wholesale nat gas prices become wildly detached from global liquefied. I mean, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Again, it's another reason why I think natural gas prices from our side in the United States are going to go up, but that's a whole nother story.
This quote from Tobias Paulin. This proposal has the potential to widen the energy crisis into a wider financial one as well, because it significantly impairs the trading activity of market participation. We are especially concerned that the effects of this proposal will be evaluated ex post, which is too late when the damages have already occurred. This guy's dead. Tobias is dead on right, man.
Yeah.
It's going to take it away from the free market. Okay.
Yeah. And price caps don't work. I mean,
No.
we've covered it extensively. I don't want to beat a dead horse with it. Price caps don't work.
Well, in Monty Python, when he was saying, well, I'm not quite dead yet, price caps keep coming up and saying the famous Python line, I'm not quite dead yet. And they keep popping back up.
I always think of the Princess Bride line. He's only mostly dead.
Only mostly from
Mostly
Miracle
dead.
Max. Miracle Max.
Yes, I need one of those pills. I needed one of them yesterday at about 8:30 p.m.
There are so many great lines in that movie. I watch that all the time just to make Rob Reiner mad, knowing that I don't ever have to pay him another dime to watch that movie. I just burn up that DVD. Okay, now Norway's views on energy security should ring the alarm bells across energy. Here's this one for our listeners here. Why Norway's views on energy? Michael, Norway is a really cool country. And I got to visit with Tom Jensen over there at Fry Battery from Norway, but I'm going to give him a shout out. Cool dude. But Norway has a lot of electricity exports from hydro. Now they are also they have huge gas fields that they were in the process of shutting down until this happened. They're now, you just don't turn on oil and gas fields. Now they're looking at not exporting the natural gas as much because they're running into a drought. And so they're looking at moving some of their hydroelectric into nat gas. So this story is really in depth and very important, but what it's shedding light on is the bigger problem that the EU has. And the bigger problem that the EU has is that they look to be falling apart, and watch for everybody to manage their own energy crises individually. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's what happens when you get complacent about your energy, and not understanding where your energy mix is. I mean, trust me, after living it, I've been up to your place as much as I have. I'm a hydro fan, just like you.
I love me some hydro.
I'd love to throw up some servers in your garage, get access to a little low cost cold energy. But that's we'll talk offline about that. But no, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't wish for a drought anywhere, but this is why having multiple sources of energy, specifically a mix of dispatchable energy like coal and really natural gas, you always
need solar,
have even a little bit on tap.
Yeah, you need nuke, you need solar, you need wind, but you just need it done where the markets will support it. Here's one comment, and then I'll turn it over to the finance section. The finance guru, as I call you, or goob.
Yeah, he's not here, so I'm filling in for him.
Yeah, the finance goob then. Okay. The thing is, if we don't get our energy policies together, everything that's going bad in Europe is going to show up here.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Nope. It's a precursor.
Financial goob, you're up.
All right. I mean, it's pretty muted. Overall markets, they were actually ripped fairly high for no other reason other than it was just a day to be bullish. And to be honest with you, really, we're on the S&P side. We're just looking at the Fed minutes, which we'll be able to read later later today as you're listening to this, for a little bit of insight on where the Fed's going. Looks like interest rates probably going to be somewhere around 0.75 points, but hopefully what they do is signal less and less rate cuts as we go into 2023. other than that, going into the markets being closed on Thursday for Thanksgiving, I think that bodes well. We get a half day on Friday. Oil prices stayed fairly steady. They were actually up above $82, dropped a little bit, currently trading about 81.32. We actually had about a 4.9 million barrel draw in the crude oil reserves in the API that dropped, well, as we record this evening. And we look to confirm that tomorrow with EIA. With the EIA oil report, they're expecting 2.2 million barrel draw. So it'll be very interesting to see where that number comes in, both relative to the EIA crude storage draws and then where the API came out today. Remember that number if you're sitting there wondering, hey, why is oil moving on Wednesdays one way or the other? It's not just did we expect a draw or expect to build? It's did we expect to draw? Did we expect to build? But then how did that do comparative to the API? Because the API is just taking their guess this morning or this afternoon. And EIA is, today on Wednesday is confirming or denying. So that's usually how that works. Markets, I think crude oil is trading through Thanksgiving. I'll just have to check that. I'm pretty sure crude oil is trading through or stops and doesn't trade through Thanksgiving. So hopefully we can have a nice Thanksgiving above $80. Quick shout out to all the oil and gas workers, which they ain't stopping on Thursday. They ain't stopping for Thanksgiving, Stu. They're gonna maybe get a nice meal out on the rig, but they're gonna keep on working. That goes for all you guys in the coal mines. Goes for everybody who's working
Truck
in
drivers.
the wind fields. If you're going to everybody, there's a whole group of people that got to show up and do stuff on Thursday. And trust me, if somebody works in the oil and gas business and sees this up front, I shout out to all you guys. So. Natural gas side, we're up to 693. Stu, this is when it gets really interesting. And this is when you have trained me to be on top of my geopolitical news because it comes into play today. So you ask yourself, why is natural gas up pretty heavy today? Well, weather reports weather models not switching overnight, but news out of Russia. And this is again where the geopolitics come in. Russians Gazprom, which before the war in Ukraine supplied about 40% of European gas, has now throttled it back to about 10% today, has sort of been in a little bit of a PR war with Ukraine. They're claiming that Ukraine is not delivering all the natural gas it's sending through the country's pipelines for its consumers in Moldova, which is Russian territory down south. Ukraine is denying that. But Gazprom Stu came out today and warned that if the imbalance continues, I love that word, imbalance. If the imbalance continues, it would start reducing natural gas supplies to that key interconnection right where Russian volumes go ahead and enter Ukraine. And they're going to do that on Monday, November 28th, right after the holidays. And Ukraine came out and basically said, no, that's not going to happen. But even though they didn't even specify how much they're going to curtail, that news sent gas prices skyrocketing again, because the bigger that premium is between United States export or United States gas and European gas, when that Freeport comes on, whoop, whoop, it's going to be a train. And again, expect natural gas prices to rise this winter. That's the only bet I'm making. I don't know what's going to happen on the crude side. My bet is that natural gas prices continue to rise here.
You bet.
All out there, Stu. Do you have any insight on what's going on with these Russian flows? You think they'll end up cutting us off? What do you think happens?
Oh yeah, and there's
I
a
love
reason.
that you said it so casually. Oh yeah, they're screwed.
Oh yeah, they're screwed. And part of the reason is Putin did this with the Nord Stream 1 and 2.
Yep.
He said, he played games with them. He's out played chess on everybody, and so when whoever took out the Nord Stream 1 and 2, if it was the Russians, all the Russians had to do is they turn it off. They didn't need to blow it up. Somebody blew it up. Let's take the missiles that hit.
We still don't know, which is crazy. We still don't know it. No one's talking about that anymore.
No. And all he had to do is just go over and then go, you got no gas, turn it off. Why would he want to blow up his own pipeline? Now, the other side of this is the U.S. military knows any time something launches, they know where it launches from. They know where it hits. I know this. And then for them to say that they don't know where those missiles came from that hit Poland, I'm going to call hogwash. They know where they came from. So when we sit here and talk about the natural gas issue, Putin's already planning on it because 2 days ago, he negotiated some more sales to the EU of LNG. That goes with our other article.
It's all a mess, and luckily we are here to break it all down for you. What do people, it's Thanksgiving, Stu. What do people need to be thinking about, if anything, when they're at the table? What, give us some good conversation topics for the table, because this is exactly what everybody needs, is some deep, dark energy topics to do at the table.
Oh, I want everybody to hug their families. Tell them they love them, even if they hate their
Tell them
in-laws.
Biden pooped on the rug.
Yeah, Biden pooped on the rug again, and you can't
Just
buy
kidding.
this.
I just love that phrase.
And just seeing him looks like a homeless guy, out in California pooping on the concrete. That's a whole new phrase there, Michael, pooping on the concrete. That's a Governor Newsom thing. Ugh. But no, for Thanksgiving, we need to be thankful that we are Americans, that we love our families, even if you have to.
And we can say our president pooped on the rug without getting our heads chopped off. That's cool too.
I don't know about that. Yeah. 87,000 of your closest IRS friends may be over for dinner. So just have a couple extra
I don't think I made enough food. I don't think I'm have enough food. I'm in trouble.
No, I appreciate everybody in the energy space. I am thankful for the truck drivers. Like you said, I'm thankful for our military, all of our first responders, all of those. I just wish them, I used to take dinner to my brother. He was an emergency room doc on Thanksgivings. So anybody in the medical field, it's
medical.
It's a big deal. Anyway.
It's a big deal. Well, with that, guys, we're going to let you get out of here. Get your last day before the little, hopefully 4-day weekend. If not, 3-day weekend. And again, shout out to all the people working, but we're going to let you get back to it. We will see you guys on Friday. For Stuart Turley, I'm Michael Tanner. See you Friday. Today's episode of the Energy Newsbeat podcast is brought to you by Inveris. The energy industry faces massive challenges every day, and the events over the last 2 years have caused huge disruptions like never before. Companies in the energy industry need actionable intelligence and a single source of truth that brings all the data together. Inveris is the energy specialized technology partner that provides intelligent connections for a global energy ecosystem. Only Inveris has the analytics, people, experience, and industry scope to connect the right data and information in the right way to discover missed opportunities and deliver fast outcomes. Find out more at Inveris.com. That's ENVERUS.com.